Good morning and welcome to the first day of Daily Divas in a very long time. Today I am speaking on Micah 6:8. This is our devotional for the day. It's my life verse. I think the very first time I heard this verse was I was sitting, for those of you that went to church with me when I was younger, I was sitting in Bedford Methodist in the old sanctuary, and I was probably second or third grade, and it just resonated with me. I remember that there were parts of this verse that just really spoke loudly to me. And the verse says, "He has told you, O mortal, what is good. What does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." So for me, as a young child, it was very simply broken down for me. And I'm a business coach as well. So I work with um, my business clients, but I do that because I have a passion to reach those that have been traumatized in life and help them find hope and healing. So my business coach side of me sees a couple of other lessons in this of the whole Micah 6:8. He broke it down into 3 steps. Very quick and easy. If you look on social media nowadays, if you look at some of the top leaders out there that are killing it on social media, they're giving you 3, 5, 7 steps to be successful in whatever. Well, it's in the Bible that way too. 3 steps to be what God has called you and created you to be, right? So let's talk about the words that are in there. The word justice. Justice has been the theme of the year for me this year. Um, it's actually kind of been an ongoing theme for a lot of my life, but this year there's been an intensity to it. There's a oomph to it, a looking at the fact that I am years old and I only have a set amount of time on earth to live out my calling. So therefore, the justice that I'm looking for is, am I treating people fairly? Are they treating me fairly? Um, that, what is it that I'm expecting them to uphold with me? I cannot expect someone that has not accepted Christ as their Lord and Savior to hold themselves to the same standards that I hold myself to. But then again, I also have failed at my own standards and the standards that God has set for me many times over. And that's where the mercy part comes in. So I have to find ways to give myself mercy. I have to find ways um, that I have to not only forgive those that have done me wrong, but I have to forgive myself. One of the things that I know as a trauma victim is that there is a lot of self blame. If you've ever been traumatized by anything, especially in the course of sexual assault, and this is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so you will hear me speaking on this a little bit more. But one of the things that most people that have been in domestic violence, sexual assault, in child abuse cases, they take the blame on themselves. And they may go to therapy and they may walk through the steps of healing with the perpetrator. But it's just as important to give yourself mercy and give yourself forgiveness, because that's going to set yourself free. You don't need forgiveness for anything you did wrong in that time. What you need forgiveness for is for accepting the shame that has been put on you. And then the last part of this verse talks about, and walk humbly with your God. It's a reminder that there is nothing that we're accomplishing here on earth that we are not doing without his blessing, without his grace, without his his creativity within our being. And so a lot of times things start going well and we start going, woo, look at me, look at me, look at me. And God's going, no, look at me. And if we're walking humbly with God, everything we're doing is to show his glory and his grace and his mercy and his justness. A few years ago, I was working at a church in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And while I was working at that church, I was having some struggles. There was some things going on. There was a dynamic shift going on in the office. There was some promotions going on. And typically at that time, if your boss got promoted, I was the executive assistant to that boss, so I would get promoted as well. And so when they announced his promotion, everybody started congratulating me for getting a promotion too. Well, that pastor had not spoken to me at all about that promotion. And there was a, how do I say it? There was a discomfort going on because I felt uncertain and unsteady as to whether or not I was going to have a job, where I was going to be, what was going on, because he's not talking to me about it, but everybody else is congratulating me. I was not going to assume that I was going into this next role with him. Quite honestly, I really didn't want to go into the next role with him because it just wasn't the feel in the office that I wanted to be in. But I internalized a lot. And I held it all in. And people would congratulate me. I'd say, well, thank you, but Todd and I haven't talked about it yet. Thank you, but Todd and I haven't talked about it yet. And one day I had gone to lunch and I came back and about the dozen person had said to me, congratulations. And everything that was in me was bubbling up. And Todd was walking by my desk that day and he goes, are you okay? Come on. And we went into his office and I told him, I said, I am so excited for your promotion, but I just don't know where I fit in the middle of all this. Right. And he said, he looked me straight in the eye. He goes, to be quite honest, I don't see that either because I see you as a practical application person. And that role is more of a personal assistant role. And I just don't see the need for the two of us that are getting promoted to have two assistants helping us with that. And let me tell you, the relief that rolled off of my shoulders in that moment was golden. Because in that moment, he had seen my worth. And he wasn't going to let me flounder out there. He was seeing my worth and treating me with fairness. He knew that I wasn't fit for the role that was going on. Because if you know me, I'm not a personal assistant. I mean, you come to my house, I'm like, there's the cabinet, there's the fridge, there's the bathroom. I'm just not that type of person. And he saw that and he knew that. And he wanted me to be able to operate and work in my own talents. So he treated me justly and fairly, but he also showed me mercy. I'm sitting there at my desk at work, about to have a meltdown, tears brimming on the side of my face. And I don't cry a lot, people. I mean, I had a friend once say, you need to go talk to another friend. You need to go talk to Angie because she's broken, because people are just so unfamiliar with seeing my tears. And he saw that. And he showed kindness and compassion in that moment to make sure that I felt like I was cared for in that moment. And through that whole process, he kept me in tune. And he showed me how to lean on God more and how to trust God in those uncertain moments. He didn't have this great overarching presence in my life. As far as, look at me, I'm your boss, I'm amazing. But I will say, for somebody that was younger than me, he is probably one of the best leaders I ever had because he exampled Micah 6:8 to me time and time and time again. So today, I want to ask you a couple of challenge questions. Like I said, we'll end each one of these on 3-point challenge questions. So, you know, acting justly could be something like going back into the store and paying for something that you accidentally walked out with while you were ringing up your groceries. Acting justly could be speaking up in the face of atrocities. Acting justly could be making sure that everybody has what they need to succeed within your circle. Not everything equal, but everything they need to succeed within your circle. So one of the things that the challenge questions is where in your life are you being called to act justly, even if uncomfortable? Where are you being called? Basically, where are you being called to speak up or press in, even if it goes against your grain, even if it goes against the norm, even if it goes against what everybody else is around you believing, but your integrity is telling you you need to take action and speak up. And then how can you extend mercy to someone today? And this includes you. Where can you extend mercy even to yourself? Find ways to look for opportunities to spread mercy. And then what does walking humbly with God look like in this season of your life? My friend Heidi, she talks all about seasons, and I'm thinking about what does walking humbly look like in this season, because especially this month, especially with some things that I've got launching, there is a strength and a determination, and I don't want people to mistake the strength for not being humble. And the way I do that is by keeping arrogance out. So how can you walk humbly with God, but still be confident and bold in the abilities that he has given you to accomplish the mission he gave you? So if you haven't seen the video from yesterday, I'm recording these live, but I also have Facebook groups that if you want to discuss more in depth these conversations, we can do those in the Facebook groups. If you're a business entrepreneur, podcaster, speaker, author, we have my Mischief group. My Mischief group is all for those that have a business mindset. We can discuss it all from a business standpoint in there. If you're somebody that has some church hurt that you've experienced over the years, I mean, let's just face it. If you've been in church, there's always been an opportunity to hurt, just like there is out in the real world, because people are people and we all are fallible. So if you've got some church hurt that you are having trouble getting over, then we have a safe place for you. It's called Dinah's Defenders. It's a Facebook group. You can find it on my Facebook profiles or search it in the search bar. And then I also, if you're a military woman who has served our country and you've experienced military sexual trauma, I have a Teal Heart Society Facebook group that's created just for you. So the doors are open to all of those now. And we are moving forward daily with each and every one of these things just to make sure that we are pouring out light so that we can flood the darkness with peace, hope, and love to transform our community, our nation, and our world. So I hope you have a blessed day. I will talk to you soon. Bye now.